Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EuroFX. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video. Greetings everybody, let's take a look at the euro currency finally. We probably have not prepared any update during the previous week on the euro currency since we have prepared previous weekly research. Well, there were some reasons for that, because the euro currency in fact hasn't shown any significant action till the Friday, and that's why we were focused on other currencies. But right now the situation demands update on the euro currency, and we will try to do this. In fact, guys, on the monthly chart, market has touched the MACD predictor line, and we have discussed this probably within the previous 2-3 weeks, when we said that if market will form the bullish grabber on the monthly chart, that really could become a very significant event, and this could clarify the further direction. At least it could give us the clear pattern that will point on the clearer direction. That's also very significant. But since July hasn't closed yet, and we currently do not know whether we will get this grabber or not, but this is just the point to watch for within the current month. In general, currently there is a situation where investors, although we've got really nice data from the United States economy, I'm speaking on the non-farm payrolls release, recent and during previous 3 months was really not bad data. Also that point on the growth of the retail sales and the consumption. But right now, in fact, this is not the data that will determine whether it's positive or not. Despite how curious it could sound, but the major point is how Fed will treat this data. Will it treat it as the sufficient for rate hiking? Whether it will treat this as the sufficient for confirmation of the real economy growth or not? Because currently it's not the data that's ruling the markets, but the Fed. From that standpoint, although as you can see, the reaction on the non-farm payrolls release was really limited, so it hasn't led to any significant drastic changes on the markets. Yes, the action was on the intraday charts, the action was really significant, but if you take a look at the different currencies and watch on the stock market, you'll see that in fact reaction was not very significant as it could be if we would get such numbers in some other period of time on the markets. This happened because investors, first of all, will look for inflation data that will be released during the July. I mean the retail sales, consumption prices, the level of the personal consumption. And what is more significant, traders will watch for July Fed meeting at the end of the July, and particularly how Fed will react on the positive non-farm payrolls, and if we will get it, the positive inflation, and how it will Fed will combine this, and what will change in the rhetoric of the Fed. That is what really significant. That's why, since the major events is still ahead, that's why the reaction on non-farm payrolls was such limited and not very significant. On the technical point of view, currently we will watch for, in the beginning of the week, for 135.65, 135.78 level. This level is very significant by 2 reasons. First of all, take a look what has happened here. Recall what we have said about this long candle. We said that take a look at market, that this candle holds the following price action within the probably 3 weeks in a row. And take a look what has happened here. Market has shown the failure breakout to the upside of this top, of this candle. Usually when market fails to break through the top of long candle that holds this action, it leads to the at least reaching of the opposite extreme point, I mean the low of this candle. But in many cases it very often happens when the market not just reached the low of this candle but moves to the downside the distance that is equal to the length of this candle. So it means that market could pass to the downside the length of this bar. Also guys, here we see the reason why market has turned to this retracement. So this A, B, C bottom pattern is 100% right here. Okay, so market has hit the agreement with this area and turns to the downside. Simultaneously, market has moved below the monthly pivot point. It also points on the bearish sentiment. And in general, we could say that this is probably the bearish setup because we see this gradual retracement. It's very slow compared to this downward action and this upward action. So AB leg is much faster than a CD. Usually points on the weakness on the market, and when the market forms such ABCD pattern with the flat CD leg, it usually this pattern usually has no continuation, so it means that market gets the reversal at the D point, the completion point of this ABCD pattern. And take a look that this move is much faster than this one, so that probably was the retracement. But it could be as simple if it will not be so sophisticated. Because if you take a look at the Swiss franc daily chart, you'll get this picture. Again guys, snake line, double bottom, failure of the double bottom, return right back down, retesting of the neckline from the opposite side, and completed of the bearish stop grabber pattern that suggests the taking out of these lows. It means that if we will transfer this idea on the euro currency, it means that market should take out of these highs and turn to the upside. And that's why this area will be very significant, because here is the 618 support of this whole move up, and we know that market could show the 618 retracement after the ABCD completion point, but if market will break down, it will tell us that probably ABCD pattern is not valid anymore and we should be ready for the downward action. Second moment, here we have the monthly pivot support 1, and until market holds above it, just could test it, find the support and turn to the upside, the bull trend on the market will hold. And very often the support 1, pivot support 1, holds the retracement after the bull action. And this is some sort of the indicator that tells us whether previous trend is valid or not. So if market will pass through the weekly monthly pivot support 1, it will tell us that this is not more that the bull trend is not valid anymore, and we just now stand at the eve of the continuation of the long-term bear trend. And finally guys, here we have the MACD predictor. So whether we will get here the bullish grabber or maybe we will get the bearish trend, that also will be the object for our monitoring on the euro currency. And in general guys, here something should happen, because here we should get the either failure of this grabber, market should continue to move up, okay, or market will hold here, maybe here it will form some another grabber and turn to the upside. That's why it's very significant to watch for this area. Theoretically, we could suggest that both currencies could show the same direction. So euro could show downward action and Swiss franc could show downward action. But I see only one reason why it could happen: some big turmoil on the geopolitical, geopolitical arena. So this could be some strong geopolitical tension, some unexpected events that could happen either in Iraq or Ukraine or something of that sort. The events that could trigger significant demand on the safe haven currencies. In this case, as the Swiss franc could show the appreciation, as the United States dollar could show the appreciation. In this case, both currencies, both pairs could start moving in the same direction. That, in fact, the only reason why it could happen. Or that is more probable that one or other pattern will fail. Either your currency will pass through these levels and turn to the downside, or Swiss franc pattern will fail. The Swiss franc stock grabber. On the hourly time frame chart, we see that this EBCD pattern is here. We have the strong acceleration down, and in such situations, market as a rule should reach the 1618 extension. It means that here market still could show some slight action to the downside, and particularly this 1618 target stands at the same level where stands the monthly pivot support. Okay, so the first moment that we will be watching for on Monday is the downward continuation. The second, where the market will form here some pattern to show some retracement right back up from this area. If this will happen, the second point that we will watch for is this area, this Fib resistance and weekly pivot point. We need this because if market will reach the weekly pivot point but bounce to the downside, it will mean that short-term bearish setup is still valid, and we should be ready for a possible, at least a challenge and attempt of breakout this area. If market will move above the weekly pivot point, in this case probably it will tell us that Swiss franc has started to work, the grabber, and probably on the euro currency the situation really could change and that market really could show the move up. That's why it is so significant, as this area as the weekly pivot point in the common week. Although the situation is really interesting right now in the euro currency and a lot of events are going on here, but unfortunately, guys, we still do not have any clear pattern to trade. So there are some chances, yes, there are some chances that maybe market here will form some free drive or something of that sort. You could try to do this, but that is stand beyond the scope of daily chart. That stands up to you. So whether you will trade something on the intraday charts, but on the daily time frame chart, we need the clarification. We need clear explanation what could really happen. Either the market is still bullish and we will see acceleration to the upside and the chances on appearing of the grabber on the monthly time frame, or market will fail here. So only if market will pass through this area we will probably could get some chance of taking position. Well, that's our short-term view on the euro currency. So let's see what market will give us in the beginning of the week.